This is Buzzkill. Buzzkill is created, produced, and edited by Gregory Starks himself. These are his thoughts and his thoughts alone. He may say some things that hurt your feelings. He may give you some truth that you're not ready for. Please be advised, this show is a buzzkill. You may hear some things that your fragile mind can't stand for, but it's okay. You can love him from a distance. To Buzzkill. So this episode is kind of like right on the heels of the Super Bowl XLV, I don't know, whatever, LVI something. It was some Super Bowl. But I'm not going to waste my time talking about the actual game. You don't need me to talk about football. I don't care enough to talk about it. I don't believe in criticizing people's hard work, because I'm sure every player on that field worked hard to get where they are, and for me to be sitting back beating them up for how they played or their performance, that doesn't help anything. It's not constructive. I'm not going to do that. I'm not that person. And plus, you got plenty of people already talking about it, so you don't need one more. Now, what I'm going to talk about is the underlying things. I'm going to talk about the stuff behind the curtain. I'm going to talk about the not so obvious stuff. All right, so number one not so obvious thing I want to talk about, that halftime show. Halftime show had Dr. Dre featuring other artists, Snoop Dogg, Kendrick Lamar, Slim Shady, Mary J. Blige. Number one thing I was looking forward to was seeing Mary J. Blige dance. I thought that was going to be like a new meme to see her dance, but it didn't really happen. She put on a good performance. She looked healthy. She looked like she could still perform. I thought she did a great job. Now, the headline that I've been reading about is Eminem Kneeling. So when Eminem did his performance, I think it was with Anderson .Paak was the band, and Eminem, at the end of his performance, got down on a knee and kneeled. I didn't even look at it like that, like he was kneeling. But leave it up to Eminem to address the elephant in the room of Colin Kaepernick. I'm wondering, when somebody came to Dr. Dre and said, hey, we want you to do the Super Bowl halftime show, what is Dr. Dre thinking at this point? Because you got to think in the back of your head that Colin Kaepernick thing. Or is he completely oblivious to everything that's going on? Does he have a stance on Colin Kaepernick? Does he look at it like a business move? Dr. Dre doesn't say much. Dr. Dre hasn't had much of any opinion. Even when he was with NWA, Cube, Easy, they were the more outspoken members of the group. Dr. Dre kind of laid back and, produced. He rapped a little bit, but he didn't write the raps anyway. So you almost got to think like that's Cube talking in those raps back with NWA. So it makes me wonder, what does Dr. Dre even think? So every black artist at this point has to be thinking Colin Kaepernick when they ask you to do the Super Bowl halftime show. And that's why in the past, a lot of them said, no, I'm not going to do it. Then they call Jay-Z, bring him in, and then people start saying yes. What do you look at Jay-Z as at this point? If Jay-Z is the guy who kind of mellowed things out, kind of got everybody back in love with the NFL, I think you got to imagine that he had a role to play in Dr. Dre this year, and I don't even remember who did it last year, but Jay-Z was involved with the NFL last year, and they had some, I don't know, somebody said yes. Somebody was wanting to do it. I don't know, who was it, Rihanna or somebody? I don't remember. Yeah, it wasn't memorable. So, all right, so Jay-Z has something to do with people saying yes again. Because I remember Jay-Z said no on the heels of Colin Kaepernick. And then he criticized, who was it, Travis Scott or somebody, because they said yes, and they were willing to do it. But I don't know. I mean, these artists don't really stand for anything other than financial gain. It seems to me like every now and then you have a artist who will like put themselves in the line, but that's supposed to be part of what art is. And Jay-Z, I remember one time he boycotted the Grammys because DMX didn't get nominated. All that goes to say is that the people who choose who wins the hip hop awards and the Grammys don't know anything about hip hop or rap music or any of that stuff. They don't listen to it. All right, so let me not get too far off of the Super Bowl halftime show. So Dr. Dre is doing the performance. Dr. Dre and Snoop started off. Dr. Dre and Snoop come out. And so, me personally, I don't want to hear a clean version of any Dr. Dre songs. I just don't. I don't listen to clean music. I would have preferred somebody like a Bruno Mars, somebody like or Silk Sonic or something like that, or an R&B group, or R&B medley or something like that with a little bit of rap in it or something like that. But I don't like to hear the censored version of Dr. Dre's music. Part of the appeal for Dr. Dre initially, when you look at NWA music, when you look at The Chronic, he's got an album called The Chronic when weed is not necessarily legal anymore. You know, like this is way back in the past when weed wasn't legal and it was still kind of like taboo culturally. So he's normally, you know, his music isn't meant to be clean, isn't meant to be for the masses. So even though he has this Apple deal with the headphones, I guess so the headphone guy does the Super Bowl halftime show, but the music that headphone guy makes isn't for primetime television consumption. I thought it was a horrible pick to put Dr. Dre on there. There's the elephant in the room. I know a lot of people were happy to see Dr. Dre there, happy to see Snoop and Mary and Eminem, but at the same time, you're happy because you feel like your music is now culturally acceptable. The stuff you grew up on, white people are willing to listen to now. And you could be, you know, a person that listens to that music and you are white, but now it's to the point where everybody is cool with your music. If you look in the 90s, 93 is when Snoop came, hit the door with Dre. I think that was 1993, 1994. Snoop was like Public Enemy #1. He was the biggest artist in the world as far as rap goes. He was the biggest rapper in the world. And all you heard was people trying to shut him down and trying to censor his music because he said bitch too much. Oh, he calls women bitches. This is trash. This is filth. This is garbage. The politicians, they went in front of the Congress and the Senate, tried to shut rap music down. Interscope and Warner Brothers, they got as far away from rap music as they fucking could. They didn't want no part of it. They got out of there. Now, here we are in 2022, we're 30 years later. And now, all of a sudden, like, you can play this music at the Super Bowl, but you can't put Janet Jackson on the Super Bowl. That's insane to me. But again, I don't even want to hear these versions of Dr. Dre's music. So I've got to listen to a Dr. Dre song with no cuss words in it. I remember back when people used to buy CDs and tapes, and you would go to a store, and sometimes by accident you buy that clean version. It doesn't have explicit lyrics on the front, and you don't pay attention to it. It's like, oh man, $7.99, $8.99, I'm buying it. It's the damn clean version when you get home. No cuss words, a bunch of bleeps. It's almost like nothing. So Dr. Dre had to change like most of the words. I think they let him say ass. He did say ass last night. He took all the cuss words out. I'm supposed to listen to a song with Snoop where he doesn't say bitch. Kind of takes away from the appeal. What if Too Short couldn't say bitch? Too Short don't got a gimmick anymore. Nah, but Too Short is a great rapper, and he's got more than just one word. But it rubbed me the wrong way to even have to listen to it. it was cringeworthy. I'm sitting there and I'm listening, and it's like, oh God, this is radio crap. Like they changing all the words up. And I read that Dr. Dre couldn't say "still not loving police" because what message does that send? I gotta go back to I don't know. I don't even know if I want to listen to it again to see if he said it or not. But from what I read, he wasn't supposed to say "still not loving police." So maybe he changed the words up and switched it and said something else. That's what brought him to the dance, is the NWA and the conflict with the police. So I don't know if because he's rich or super wealthy would probably be the proper term. I don't know if because he's super wealthy now, he has a better relationship with the police because he needs them to protect property for him and keep him safe, which they don't keep you safe because look at Mrs. Avant. She got murdered and the police couldn't save her. But so maybe Dr. Dre's relationship with the police department is different now. If so, why hasn't he addressed that or expressed those differences in views? Because a lot of his fan base still looks at him in a certain way. But his original fan base isn't why he's a billionaire. It's his deal with the headphones, and Jimmy Iovine did that. All right, so I didn't like that part. He didn't cuss, no profanity. I think it kind of takes away from the spectacle of rap music. But second thing, 50 Cent was not billed as one of the performers, but he was there. So 50 Cent was like a surprise that wasn't a surprise. Because I heard rumors that he was probably going to make an appearance and he was probably going to show up and do a performance. Because he's from that family tree of Dr. Dre. It only makes sense. But why did they say the performers were going to be Dr. Dre, Snoop Dogg, Mary J. Blige, Eminem, Kendrick Lamar, and didn't mention 50 Cent? I got some theories. I don't know why. Nobody, gave me any inside information. I don't talk to these people. I don't know anybody. I'm a nobody. So I'm wondering if 50 Cent's name doesn't ring as safe for the Super Bowl audience. And maybe it would have turned people off if 50 Cent's name was on there. 50 Cent is a very controversial rapper. And when you talk about, even when I said record labels got as far away from rap music as possible back in the 90s, even in the early 2000s, they went no part of 50 Cent. All he did was talk reckless to everybody. He got shot a bunch of times. People didn't want to see another version of Tupac. They didn't want Tupac number 2. 50 Cent was that of his time. He was hot as a firecracker. Dr. Dre and Eminem were like the only labels that wanted anything to do with him. When he got shot, he couldn't get a deal. Everybody got as far away from him. He started making mixtapes and he kind of did it on his own. But to that point, why isn't 50 Cent's name on the marquee? Is it because 50 Cent would have required a fee to use his name? Is it possibly because if you talk about this current version of 50 Cent, you associate it with power? So, it's violent TV, crime, stuff like that. Maybe that turns you off. I'm curious why they didn't say 50 Cent, because 50 Cent didn't just come out there and say a few words and walk out. 50 Cent was there for the whole performance, and he did just as much as Kendrick Lamar or Eminem and Mary J. Blige. So he had a significant role as far as the whole show went. So I don't know why they didn't use his name. 50 Cent gained some weight. That was funny to see him hanging upside down. And I saw he posted a meme of Bizarre from D12 hanging upside down like 50 got fat. So 50 might have to, get back in the boxing gym or something like that before he does another performance in the wife beater. But hey, love 50. 50's a superstar. Ain't gonna knock him. It's like, hey, who ain't gained a few pounds over a 30-year span, 25 years or something like that? Yeah, so good for Fifth. FIF. Love Power. Force. Got to catch that new episode of Force. I don't know if it came on with the Super Bowl, but I would rather watch Force than watch the Super Bowl probably. Tommy is killing it on that show. If you ain't watching Force, catch up on it. But let me get back on topic. All right, Eminem, Slim Shady himself, showed up to do the Super Bowl. All right, Eminem comes out of his home probably seems like once every 6 or 7 years. We don't see Eminem much. He's not out there. You don't hear any stories about Eminem. Eminem seems like he's kind of an introvert, a recluse. So for Eminem to come out and do the halftime show, I think that's a bigger deal than Dr. Dre doing it, because we don't see Eminem. And he only shows up when he's mad and angry because you didn't like the last album he dropped. But I like that chip on his shoulders. I can appreciate that. All right, so Eminem comes out, does Lose Yourself. Not my favorite Eminem song, but I didn't expect to hear any of my favorite Eminem songs at a Super Bowl performance. But people went crazy, like he was the main attraction. And then at the end of his performance, he took that knee. And I wonder how the crowd reacted to that, because you can't really hear what's going on. But when he first came out, they went nuts. And this is a football crowd. And I'm wondering how these people feel about him taking that knee. Because you can still see the disdain that people have when somebody doesn't stand up for the national anthem. Or when they see athletes kneel. It pisses people off. They hate it. They hate that crap. Now I'm about to give Eminem some props. Normally I don't. I think I always say like, he's kind of overrated. He's great, but he ain't that great. There's a lot of other rappers that's, equally as lyrical. But this ain't that. This ain't that conversation. I'm about to give Eminem some props. When I look at that group of performers, when I look at the influence of a Dr. Dre, of a Kendrick Lamar, of a Snoop Dogg, of a 50 Cent, I don't think Kendrick Lamar would be fearful of doing some kind of like a protest or something of that nature, saying something controversial. I don't think that. I could be wrong. 50 Cent might say something. He's more of a shock factor type dude. Like he'll say stuff, hurt people's feelings. He'll say some mean stuff, and it's like, he's just speaking the obvious. Now Snoop and Dre, on the other hand, Mary J. Blige, I'm going to exempt her from this altogether. But Snoop and Dre, I would expect Snoop to say things to a certain extent. Snoop called hell for what he said about Gayle King. Because the thing with Snoop is he goes a little too far. When Gayle King did I think it was Bill Cosby. No, it was Kobe. She was interviewing Lisa Leslie, and she kind of shitted on Kobe. And he called her a dog-faced bitch for that. Snoop called hell for being so disrespectful. Like, dude, that's somebody's mama or grandmama, man. You can't talk to somebody like that. He went too far. Got the point that he was making, though. So Snoop isn't the quiet type. But Snoop would take it too far, so sometimes Snoop probably shouldn't say nothing in regards to certain things. Dre will never say anything about anything anymore since he's a billionaire. It's probably not good for business. He probably has a contract with Apple to never say anything controversial where it messes up business. I gotta talk about Snoop and that allegation too. But Eminem took a knee. And here we are in a time where, like I said, the elephant is in the room with that Colin Kaepernick thing. You can't forget about that. They asked Eminem to perform, and he's in a room. Eminem wanted to take the knee, and the NFL didn't feel too good about that. But it looks like they allowed the knee anyway, and they were okay with it, I guess. because at a certain point they didn't allow players to kneel or protest until Donald Trump criticized the owners and punked them. And then all of a sudden it was like, yeah, we don't mind it anymore. We're cool with it. If you're doing it for the owners, when the owners come out there and get on halfway broken, replaced knees, and they take knees, you got to help their old asses up. It's cool to take a knee then, but you can't take a knee and protest for something for black people. To me, that's some punk ass shit. That's sucker. Cause I ain't taking a knee for Jerry Jones when Jerry Jones won't take a knee for any of my people getting shot. I'm not taking a knee with Robert Kraft when Robert Kraft won't take a knee for. Well, all right, we'll take him out. He did get Meek Mill out of jail, probably. You know, he did help with that. We'll exempt him. But when you look at all the rest of them, Trump said I'd yank them sons of bitches off my field and fired everybody. And it hurt their feelings because it made them look like that Trump was tougher than they were. So they had to show some resolve. Like, no, we're not going to take it. Now we're going to go out here and take a knee. But you're only taking a knee for Donald Trump. So, yeah, fuck all them. Eminem takes a knee. I thought that was pretty cool. He took that knee. It's like, yeah, I understand the circumstances. Even though you don't see me much. When you do see me, I'm gonna make a statement, and I make it count. You know, I make these performances count because I think the last time I saw Eminem was on that BT Cypher when he went in on Trump for like 5 minutes, just killing Trump. I thought that was pretty cool. I didn't think it was the greatest lyricism, but it was brave for him to do it. So what about the fact that Eminem, the white guy, has more courage to stand up for what's right than the black people do? Like, Dr. Dre came in and played the piano as Eminem kneeled. I don't know if we can take something from that. I don't know where Snoop or 50 Cent was. I don't know what the conversations were. Like, do y'all want to kneel with me? Do y'all, or it's like, we scared to do it because we don't want to mess our careers up. Eminem don't care. But even if the NFL said, Eminem, you can't take a knee, what are they going to do to him? Tell him he can't perform for free at the halftime show? It's like, y'all needed him. He didn't need y'all. He don't need it's not even a bag in it. It's kind of volunteer work in support of Dre. Eminem can walk. Eminem good on money. Eminem don't need the notoriety. Eminem doesn't need to do the halftime show. I heard somebody say, if you do the Super Bowl halftime show, you don't ever have to worry about, you're always going to get calls to work for the rest of your life. Okay. So if you're a young artist and you're not established, I get that. Dr. Dre is over 30 years in this game. He don't need it. He doesn't need to do performances. He makes more money selling headphones or from selling the headphone company than he ever made from music. He didn't get paid until about 15 years in. He got robbed when it came to music by Jerry Heller or Suge, and he didn't make no money until he was 15 years in. Ain't no money in music anymore. And then when you talk about Eminem, he's the top streaming artist last year. He had more streams than everybody. He don't need it. He's never going to stop getting phone calls. Snoop is never going to stop getting phone calls. No, I guess I'll get back to that too. 50 Cent is good. He's got 5 TV shows or something like that. He's straight. Mary J. Blige might need it, so people don't forget who she is, but her fan base ain't never gonna forget her. So she at least can ride it out until she gets super old, when she can't perform no more. But she's trying this acting thing. Maybe that'll work out for her. Monet is not my favorite character, but it moves the plot, and I think it's interesting. I like it. I like Tariq's version of Power, book 2. I'm over plugging all this 50 Cent shit. I need to get my own TV show so I can plug my own stuff. But anyways, like, Eminem is like the perfect white dude that you would want to have as a friend. And the reason I say that, all right, here comes the buzzkill. Normally in circles of friends, when it comes to racial dynamics, you'll normally see either a lot of black kids with a white friend or two. So like, not many black crews have more than one white dude in it. Not many white crews have more than one black dude in it. But if you had to pick the white dude you was hanging with, you probably want him to be like Eminem. Because at least he doesn't run from shit. He doesn't pretend that white supremacy don't exist. He doesn't pretend that there ain't a type of white privilege. He don't pretend that he don't see the racism or he don't see the bullshit. He don't lie about it. He's honest and he's real about it. When you go to this Joe Rogan situation, where Joe Rogan said nigga about 50 fucking times, I guess, over the last 15 years, black people went crazy to come and defend Joe Rogan. Why are black people defending the white dude who says nigga? He's not a racist, he's not a racist. Eminem has never said nigga. He may be the only dude that may be able to get a pass for it. But he got so much respect that he wouldn't say it. And Joe Rogan has absolutely no respect, so that's why he says it so much. That's the difference between the type of white dude you're dealing with. When you deal with the white guy who wouldn't call you a nigga or wouldn't try to slip the word nigga in or try to use it in a certain context, because I be thinking sometimes I'm talking to a white dude, and they be like trying to find a way to be able to say nigga or nigger. It's like, well, I'm not calling you that or anything, but a nigga, no, don't do it. Don't do it. I'm not giving you a pass on that. Stop. Well, I'm just saying what other people say. I don't care. Shut the fuck up. I ain't playing that game. And then there's well, they say it in rap music, so why can't I say it? Eminem is one of the greatest rappers of all time, and he's never said it. He's a rapper, and a lot of white people's excuse for being or wanting to say nigga is because they say it in rap songs, and Eminem doesn't ever say it. And he's the white guy in rap. If he don't say it, why the hell do you think you can fucking say it? Because you don't have any goddamn respect. Joe Rogan has absolutely no respect if he could just recklessly say it that much. How can you have that many clips of you saying that? And people say, oh, he took them out of context. What is the context? I don't give a fuck about no damn context. You ain't supposed to say it. And he knows he's not supposed to say it. He knows he was wrong. But it kills me to see black people defending him. To see white people defending him. It doesn't shock me. But if you're trying to prove that somebody isn't a racist, then why are you the person defending the person that does racist stuff? Miss me with that. Eminem, I give him big props for what he did. I give him huge props because, in my opinion, he's like the only one that probably has the equity to have that kiss my ass. Like, I don't know if Snoop has that kind of equity where he can tell the institution to go to hell. I don't know if even Dr.Dre has that kind of equity to be able to say something like that. But Eminem, and I don't know if it's because he's a white dude that he gets the equity, but I don't care why he gets the equity. But I understand that Eminem can tell everybody to kiss his ass and he'll be straight. He'll be fine. But not a lot of black artists have kissed my ass money. Not a lot of black artists even have the, what's the correct word for that? I don't want to say courage because I don't want to call them cowards just for not doing nothing, but they don't have the nerve to even do it. They won't have the audacity to kind of just say, kiss my ass to the institution, to, the labels and everything. It's like, I'm going to do what I want to, and if you don't like it, I don't care. Not a lot of black artists have that kind of kind of equity built up. Eminem is one of those people who can. Thank God for people like Eminem, and wish we had more people like Eminem that were honest and that were willing to put themselves on the line because they can, to move society forward. I think the fact that everybody's so quiet about stuff, about everything. What does Martin Luther King say? I don't know. To be quiet is just as bad as to be the criminal, you know. Eminem actually says something, but most people will not say anything. This institution, the National Football League, the NFL, has proved time and time again to discriminate against black people. I mean, they really go in on black people. Like, remember the one guy, Richie Incognito, he was calling everybody nigga. Riley Cooper, he was out at a concert saying, I kick all you niggas' asses, or I kill all you niggas, or something like that. Nothing really happened to those dudes. He was bullying, Incognito, he was bullying somebody, and they finally got rid of him. But he came back into the league about 10 minutes later. When you look at the punishments that Roger Goodell was like throwing out to every black player for everything. Oh, you're smoking weed, you can't play for 15 games. Oh, you did this, you know. He was killing them. But that double standard existed. When you look at the situation, I remember I used to sit back and count how many black quarterbacks they had in the NFL. And it was always like 4 or 5. And then depending on if you were coming or going. Some people were on their way out. Like, it's like, all right, you on a 2-year contract, we might cut you if things don't go well. And then another team is going to draft a new black dude. 2 new black dudes will come in. And then you get rid of the old 2. And they would just like recycle them. Like, these dudes would go out and these dudes would come in. These dudes would go out, these dudes would come in. But it never got over like 5 at a time. Same thing with coaches. It never gets over like 5 or 6 at a time. So now it's so low, it's all the way down to 2. And all the black coaches get all the shitty jobs. They always get the jobs with the worst team, so you're likely to get fired. Only person that really got like a long career of longevity, despite not showing a whole lot of success, marginal success, I'll say that though, Marvin Lewis in Cincinnati. Like, they gave him for a really good amount of time. Good for them. Cincinnati made it to the Super Bowl, you know. They didn't make it with Marvin, but they got there eventually. And Tomlin, he got put in a great situation to start with, and he did good, and he's been there ever since. Tony Dungy, he didn't get the best situation when he was in Tampa Bay. He kind of built that thing, and then as soon as it didn't go well fast enough, they got him out of there and brought the white dude in. And then he got another good situation with Indianapolis because he got Peyton Manning, but he didn't have much other than that. They couldn't get over the hump, but he got him there. So good for Tony Dungy. But a lot of black coaches don't get an opportunity, and they don't keep a lot of black coaches at a time. You can't like ignore the fact that Flores thing, you know, that stuff holds weight. When he, like the Rooney Rule, and they're gonna fire whoever they want to begin with. You know, it's usually not a black dude. So these are little things that the NFL has to address. But there's some racist practices in the NFL. But yet, nobody really say nothing about it. Nobody really does anything. Nobody really takes a stand about it. Eminem was like, hey, I know what y'all did to Colin Kaepernick. I'm going to take a knee on your show, your biggest show of the year. And me, I didn't even notice it, that he took the knee. I'm looking at him like, why is he kneeling down? Because I saw Mary like pass out and fall on her back. Didn't understand what that was about. I was like, well, maybe it's part of the show and I'm just not quite grasping it or something like that. And then when he took the knee, I had totally forgot about Kaepernick. It's been to the point I forgot about Kaepernick. They have distracted me to the point where I didn't even associate the two together. The NFL is good with PR. Because me, I'm always looking for where the racism at. I notice everything. And that blew me away that I didn't even catch that Eminem was kneeling, kind of to show respect to Kaepernick, even though the NFL would never give Kaepernick a fucking job. And they just act like he never existed. But it is what it is. So big up to Eminem and let him be the example. He should be the standard. I think it's funny that one of the best rappers happens to be a white dude, and we haven't had anybody really come after him like a white dude that can rap. We had a lot of people that tried before him, and it was corny and it was whack. But it just shows if you don't grow up in that culture, if you don't live around it, if you don't understand it, you're not going to make it. Nor should you, I don't think. I mean, we lived in a clout-chasing world for a little bit, and hopefully that's about past, Tekashi 6ix9ine, he didn't deserve to make it because he was lying. That authenticity thing when it comes to hip-hop, you got to be authentic, but everybody can't be authentic, and some people, they can stunt, they can front for a little bit, but in longevity, it's not going to last. You got to be real, and you got to be who you are. Speaking of being real and being who you are, Snoop has always been who he is. And it seems to me like Snoop is kind of evolving into something different, where he's almost following those footsteps of Jay-Z, where I see how he's the president or something of Def Jam. That's one of the things Jay-Z did. Part of that deal, I think, was that when they sold their stock or their share of Rockefeller, Def Jam owned it, and they gave Jay-Z, part of this conversation. So I remember him saying or I remember Dame Dash saying, why you take the Rockefeller name? He was because they gave it to me. And I wonder if maybe this death row thing with Snoop is kind of that same type of thing, where whoever was controlling it probably gave him, because I saw he acquired Death Row, not he bought Death Row. So maybe somebody gave him the rights to Death Row. So again, I'm seeing parallels with him and Jay-Z. Timing is a motherfucker though. Right before he's supposed to do this Super Bowl halftime show, some girl, a woman alleges that he sexually assaulted her 8 or 9 years ago. I don't know if we're still in that Me Too era. I don't know if that still holds the kind of weight that it used to have. If it does, this might be the end of Snoop. He might not make it through something like this. And again, we talk about that equity, and it's how much social equity do you got built up? I don't know if Snoop can last if this sexual allegation thing holds water. If she only wants money, it's why'd you go public to begin with? So I don't know what the situation is. So maybe they want criminal charges brought against him. I don't know what the statute of limitations is. I guess I should do some research, but I don't really care. But I don't know if Snoop can make it through that. If he does, hey, all power to him. If he didn't do it, of course, I ain't condoning such actions, but it is what it is. But Snoop did the show. They didn't pull back and say we got to take Snoop out, but it seemed like that's because of the timing. It seemed like that's what was going on. But Snoop is about to hit another level. He's evolving to superstar business status. So that'll be good for him. I don't know what's going to happen with this, but that's probably going to determine where Snoop goes after this. But it is what it is. Kendrick Lamar. He's more like the rapper of today. I think that was pretty cool that he was involved last night. He kind of represents this new generation of hip hop. I didn't understand it though. They had Dre Day boxes, and then he had the dancers. Everybody had gold hair. I don't really get that. So maybe somebody will break that down and give me an understanding of why the steppers had all had gold hair. Didn't get that. Didn't know what that was about. But I thought overall his performance was pretty good. You know, yeah, 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 yeah. I like Kendrick. I like Kendrick Michael. Um, I wasn't a fan of the Dr. Dre and the Snoop stuff. Like I said, I don't want to hear that kind of stuff without cuss words in it. Eminem's was cool because that song ain't really got a lot of cussing in it anyway, and the band kind of carried that song, the drummers and and the keyboards and stuff. One thing I would have liked to see is maybe if Dre would have brought out more surprises. Like if 50 Cent is the one surprise, which isn't a surprise, I'd like to see more surprises. On the top of my list of surprises would have been Scott Storch. I don't think people would have understood the significance of Scott Storch, but I like to have seen Scott Storch on those keys, get to play like a medley or something like that, a song. That would have been cool to me. Cube, I would have liked to have seen Cube. If he could have came out, I don't think it would have been possible because Cube is one of those dudes that stands up on principle, and I don't think he would have been with it. I think he would have been all the way with the shits, and he would have just like, no, fuck it, I'm going in, and I'm gonna start telling the truth. Like he probably would have got on the mic and said, fuck the NFL, big up to Cube. I love Cube. But I would have liked seeing Scott Storch. I would have liked to see something from his NWA days. Maybe a couple dudes from Death Row, whether it be DOC, whether it been maybe Daz and Corrupt, something like that. But I like to see more surprises. Even though 50 Cent and the Game don't like each other, Game is from LA. I wouldn't have mind seeing the Game. Maybe they could have. Nah, that wouldn't happen. Maybe they could have had the Hater Love It Game and 50, but nah, probably not. But it would have been great to see them get back together. That would have been headline of all headlines if somebody can make peace with the Game and 50 Cent. That'd be dope. But it is what it is. Other than that, Super Bowl was it was an event. I got my issues with it, but it was cool. I mean, I'm not gonna knock nobody for enjoying it. If you liked it, you liked it. But that ain't what I want to hear. At least that, as far as that halftime show goes, that ain't what I want to hear. I was happy that they didn't do all that damn pandering like they did last year, all that Black Lives Matter stuff, and it was like kind of corny at that point. It's like, stop it. Nobody's buying this bullshit. Get the fuck out of here. But I'm about to get up out of here. So if you listened all the way through, man, I fucks with you, and thanks for fucking with me. But this is the Buzzkill, episode number 1. Tune in next time. Peace.